What's going on, YouTube? I got a new market update video report for you for Toronto, August 2025. This is my September 2025 update review for you. Obviously, I get the data 1 month after because that's when the data rolls in. So we're going to be talking about August stats today. And if you're a buyer, a seller, or an investor, you're going to want to stay tuned because there's a lot of information going on as listings are way up. Prices have come down just a little bit and buyers are now in power. So let's get after it. All right. The market is currently at a crossroads. So sales activity, let's talk about that. We're up 2.3% year over year, but we're actually down 1.8% month over month. For whatever reason, in July, there was a little bit more movement going on that has since come down. Prices have declined 5.2% year over year, marking the first time in, I don't know how many years it's been. It's been a few years though, that the average home price in Toronto is below $1.1 million. Inventory has surged though. We're up 22% year over year. That's pretty dramatic. That's a lot of new listings rolling in without that many sales to catch up. So market conditions are now considered balanced with 4 to 5 months of supply, representing a fundamental shift from the seller's market that dominated in recent years. Prices are correcting. Stability is emerging, kind of. So the average price in Toronto and the GTA combined is now at $1.022 million. That's down $55,000 year over year. The median price, however, is at $867,000, which is more of a stable indicator showing resilient mid-market performance. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Has something to do with townhouses. The average price in Toronto alone, that's the 416 area code, we're at 1.075. So like I said before, it's finally below that 1.1 million mark. But however, the price to income ratio, we're still at 15 to 17x. Still very stretched compared to the median household income levels. You would need, 15 to 17x your income or 15 to 17 years of your income to really be able to afford these homes. So prices are experiencing a healthy correction after years of rapid growth, but affordability remains a significant challenge for many potential buyers. The 416 area code continues to command a premium, reflecting its desirability and urban amenities. You can see that here, as we just talked about, where the average price for Toronto is higher than the average price for the rest of the GTA. Moving along. Not all segments move the same. So what does this mean? In real estate, we have different segments. There's different parts of the market. You have like your detached homes, your semi-detached homes, your townhouses, and your condos. Those are the main 4 sectors here. So we could see right here, detached homes, that's this graph right here. The average price is now at $1.3 million. That's down 10.5% year over year. The detached homes are experiencing the steepest correction at minus 10.5% as high-end buyers become more price sensitive and mortgage costs impact affordability at this price point. Townhomes, however, check this out. That's this bar right here. The average price is at $859,000. That is up 0.8%. It's got a positive growth, benefiting the sweet spot of space and relative affordability for families. So a lot of people don't really want to move into a condo. They might have some children here and there, 2 to 3 kids. Condo spaces kind of start to get a little bit tight. So your next logical step is to move into a townhouse. And that's why we're seeing that the price has actually grown, because there's a lot more competition for townhomes now. In the condo market, we're at $642,000 average price. We're down 3.4% year over year. There's a ton of condos in Toronto right now that are sitting on the market. We talk about it here. The condo market is softening. Downtown condos demand cooling as remote work reduces the premium on urban core proximity and investors face tighter rental margins. However, there just has been a recall to people coming back into the office. So we'll see how that comes into effect with Toronto condos over the next 3 to 4 months. Inventory surge reshapes the market. So we've got a 22% active listings growth. That's 27,000 new homes current homes available on the market. That's a lot of homes. Buyers have a lot of options right now. Sellers need to be aware. They need to price their homes correctly. They need to make sure that their homes look great on the market. 9.4% new listings increase. This is what I meant to say. 14,000 new properties popped up on the market in August. That's insane. Okay. Sales did grow because of this by 2.3%, but relatively speaking, that's nothing compared to how many new homes popped up on the market. All right. 5,000 transactions completed despite increased competition between sellers, not between buyers. Not much competition between buyers right now. You're not really going to be seeing bidding wars and stuff like that. There are a lot of agents on the market right now trying to do the whole holding offers for a week thing to try and spur some interest. It's not really working. A lot of those listings are going by. No offers are coming in, or offers are coming in solo. They're not accepting them anyway. And then they either terminate and relist, or they just stay on the market with a price change. As you can see down here, buyers have more options than any time in recent years, with reduced urgency and increased negotiation opportunities across all price segments. By the way, if I'm going a little bit too fast for you guys, pause the video, take a look at these graphs, charts, whatever you want, read it at your own pace. Moving along though, homes are taking longer to sell. So I'm just going to move myself over here a little bit. All right, so pre-pandemic, 2019 and before, there was an average of 45 to 50 days on market, which reflected normal market conditions and a balanced market. All right. And then COVID happened. Then the market just went crazy. Prices were going up. Everything was getting sold so fast. Look at this. Properties sold in 7 to 14 days with multiple offers and bidding wars driving rapid transactions. Things were hectic. I had a listing one time. It sold within less than 24 hours. I didn't even have a chance to make a social media post on it. I put the listing up. I was getting calls. Hey, we're bringing you an offer within a couple hours. They didn't even go to see the home yet. It was absolutely nuts. And then that brings us to the current market, 2025. We're back to an average of 49 days of days on market. So we're going back to the historical norms. That's good. It means it's a healthy market. It's a balanced market. But the median days, sorry, cross that out there. That says 14. 14 days, indicating well-priced homes are still moving quickly. Don't be one of those sellers that are trying to get prices from a few years ago. You have to understand that the market has come down. I know there's a lot of issues. You got your mortgage payments and whatnot. It's just not realistic. Your house is going to stay on the market. It's not going to get sold. And then people are going to wonder, why isn't this house selling? Kind of stigmatizes the property a little bit. There's a lot of psychology that comes into effect here. The return of normal marketing periods represents a healthy market recalibration, while average days on market have increased by 11% year over year. The significant gap between average of 49 days and median 14 days reveals a split market dynamic. Properties priced correctly for current conditions continue to sell quickly, while overpriced or poorly presented homes languished. Kind of what we just talked about previously. So, price your home correctly in this market. It's the only strategy that is currently working. Let's talk a little bit about mortgages and what's going on here. The best 5-year fixed I could find was on ratehub.ca, 3.99%. Obviously, that's only going to be available through, mortgage brokers and specialized lenders. The big 6 banks, TD, CIBC, RBC, etc. You're going to be looking at 4.14% to 4.59%. This is our 5-year fixed, guys. Okay. So the Bank of Canada current policy is at 2.75%. However, we are expected to see a 0.25% rate cut coming up really soon. So that could bring in potentially a little bit more buyers. I know it only says 0.25. It doesn't sound big, but for every quarter point reduction in interest, buyers are saving approximately $125 per month, which doesn't sound too much again, but multiply that by 12 for the year, then multiply that by 20, 25, 30, your amortization rate, whatever. It does add up, and it does allow more buyers to come into the market. Going over some themes that I personally found, whether it's me being on the field, whether it's me Googling or news articles or whatever, recovery has stalled. Okay. So like I said, in July, there was a bit of a spur, a bit of an uptick with sales. That's come down in August again. So it's cooled off again. Let's see what happens in September. September is pretty seasonal. Usually there is a bump in the market, but we'll see how that plays out. We do have now a well-supplied market. Inventory has surged. We went over that. Affordability challenges. Despite the price corrections, we're still looking at that 15 to 17x income to price ratio, which is making it difficult for people to buy things. Balance conditions, 4 to 5 months of supply. We talked about that. And rate cut expectations. We did just mention how everyone's kind of just sitting on the sideline, still waiting for that rate cut to come down just a little bit, just to get them in the market. Let's go over some of the different regions in the GTA now. I'm not going to go over all of this. It's just a lot of numbers I'd be spewing out at you, which, nobody really wants to hear that right now. But feel free to pause the video, like I said, take a look at all this. We're just going to talk about some common themes going on. Okay, so Toronto, we have a balanced market. The Peel region, that's Brampton, Mississauga, Caledon, we have a balanced market. York region, balanced market. Halton region, this one is actually a little bit surprising. It's the tightest in the GTA. Sellers are still a little bit more in control over here, but not by much. It's still pretty much balanced at 4.1. And then the Durham region, once again, balanced, buyer-friendly market. Anywhere you look right now, think it's pretty balanced. So you could pause here. You could check out, if you're a first-time home buyer, maybe you're looking at which areas are more affordable for you. You definitely want to check out the Durham region. Average price is $870K. Maybe even the Peel region in some sections at $970K. And then if you're an investor, take a look at this as well. You could see, kind of get a hint of what areas might be the best for you to retain as much profit as possible. Let's take a look here at what some analysis are saying. These are just quotes that I've picked up over different articles along the month. We have leaders of TREB saying they're maintaining cautious optimism about market recovery, but affordability concerns remains the primary obstacle to sustain growth and sales activity. TREB leadership, they usually try to stay as positive as possible. I don't really take their word into effect too much. Market analysis. The market has become highly policy sensitive. Interest rate cuts will be the critical catalyst for the next phase of recovery and increased buyer activity. Like I said, the next rate cut coming in, 0.25 doesn't seem like a lot, but we've had a few of those now over the year. It's starting to add up and buyers are slowly starting to come back into play here. You could pause here. You could read these other ones here if you want to, but I'm just going to read this here in the yellow. Policy decisions, particularly from the Bank of Canada, will heavily influence whether current balance conditions evolve favorably for buyers or sellers through 2026. All right. So expert consensus emphasizes that affordability remains Toronto's biggest real estate challenge. The economy and how it is now, all the tariff stuff, it's really understandable. Increased inventory creates healthier market dynamics. The fundamental disconnect between housing costs and local income requires sustained attention. How the cost of living just keeps on going up here in Canada, and home prices are not falling fast enough, basically, is what everybody is saying here. So what's ahead? What's going on for possibly 2026? We're going to talk about the base case, which is like, the average, what's most likely to happen. What would happen if the bank starts aggressively cutting interest rates, and what's like the worst possible outcome. All right. So base case here. Most likely, we're going to see another 2 to 4% drop through the first quarter of 2026. We might see some gradual improvement with sales. Inventory levels are going to continue to go up because we are now entering the winter months. December is usually dead for real estate. Nobody wants to, go through the stress of buying and moving while Christmas or holidays are around the corner. And market conditions will probably still remain balanced. If the bank decides to start cutting rapidly, we could see some stabilization by the second quarter of 2026. A lot of sales will start to happen again. Inventory will still be balanced though by spring. And we could return to a seller's market. That's only if we're really aggressively cutting interest rates to the point where a flood of buyers comes into the market all at once. I don't really see that happening in 2026, my personal opinion. Worst case scenario, and I say this is the worst case scenario because if we do enter a recession and the home prices significantly drop, which is kind of what everyone wants, I'm not saying it's totally a bad thing, but if we're in a recession, that just means a lot worse is going to happen to our economy. jobs are already being lost by the thousands. In August, I think we lost 66,000 jobs in Canada. It's quite a bit. It's not good for the economy, to be honest. It's better if it slowly goes down rather than a drastic drop, right? So we would see an 8 to 12% correction. That sounds great on paper, but like I just mentioned with what I said earlier, it could cause a lot of problems. Significant decline in sales because people are losing their jobs and whatnot. Oversupplied conditions, no one's able to sell anything. And then obviously shift into the buyer's market, which would be great because we've been in a seller's market for so long, but we just need to get to the buyer's market slowly, not rapidly. So for the rest of 2025, seasonal slowdown with continued high inventory, rate cut implementation begins affecting buyer qualification and sentiment. Into the first quarter of 2026, traditional quiet period with potential for further price softening, policy impacts become more apparent in market activity. And then into the second quarter, spring market will be back. So we're going to test our strength and recovery. Inventory rebalancing becomes clear with seasonal buyer return. The most likely scenario involves continued price moderation through early 2026, followed by gradual stabilization as rate cuts improve affordability. However, broader economic conditions will significantly influence outcomes, with recession risk potentially creating deeper corrections. Okay. Best case scenario, we achieve stabilization by mid-2026. Worst case scenario involves extended correction if economic conditions deteriorate significantly. Oh, there we go. Okay. So what does this mean for you? Whether you're a buyer, whether you're a seller, whether you're an investor. If you're a buyer, I got a link down below where you could let me know what you're looking for. I could help you find what's going on in your specific market. Remember, guys, everything I'm talking about right now is for the broader sense of the GTA and Toronto. Every market, though, has their own communities and whatnot, and every community has their own little mini market going on. I could help break that down for you, whether you're looking to sell in a specific community or whether you're looking to get into one as well. For my sellers, like I said, there's another link down below just for you guys. Investors, you guys can feel free to just text me. The buyers and sellers, if going through the website links is too much work for you, send me a text message. My number is down below. I'll probably pop it up on the screen right here as well. Let me know what's going on, what you're doing, what your goals are. We'll get it sorted. Anyways, so for buyers, you got more selection, unprecedented choice across all price points and property types. Woohoo! Finally, right? I mean, come on. It's about time. Reduce competition. Don't have to get into these bidding wars with other people anymore. You don't have to worry about getting your offer in by midnight right now. You could actually have some negotiating power. If you need 7 days for an inspection, write it in your offer. Go ahead. What's the seller going to do? They're just sitting there. They're not going to say no. Okay. Rate optimization. It's a good time to shop for the best mortgage terms and conditions. Don't just, don't settle for something. Shop around, call around. People are willing to help you if you call enough people. Okay. Strategic timing. Opportunity to align purchases with expected rate cuts. So, your rate cuts coming up, might be time to start looking, okay? For sellers, competitive pricing. This is the number one thing, okay? If your house isn't selling, it might look beautiful, it might look amazing, whatever, you're getting showings. The core issue is usually the price, okay? So you got to come down to reality and give a price that's relative to today's market as well as where the market is going, okay? Professional presentation. Staging and photography becomes critical. The buyers have so many options. If they walk into a house and it just looks bad, it smells bad, whatever, they're going to walk right out. They're not struggling to find homes right now. Timing flexibility. Consider market timing and seasonal patterns. Listing right now is okay because it's in September. There's a bit of a bump in September. The market's not amazing. Don't think that you're going to list your house in December and you're going to catch a buyer. Wait for the market fluctuations. Send me a text message. I could help you out with that. I could show you for the past X amount of years when the best time of the year usually is to sell. Marketing strategy. Enhance online presence and targeted buyer outreach. Because there are so many listings out there, you have to separate yourself. You have to get as many views on your property as possible. To get people through the door, okay? People need to see your house. Once again, if you're selling, I can help with that. Got some social media strategies lined up for you. realistic expectations. Understand current market conditions versus peak pricing. Kind of like everything that we just talked about before. Don't go listing your house with 2022 pricing. No one's going to pick it up right now. It's just going to sit on the market and go stagnant. For my investors out there, try to prioritize properties with positive rental yields. Kind of hard to do right now because the rental market is coming down as well. So it would depend on how much you bought that rental property for, how much you put down, etc., what your mortgage payment is, right? Long-term perspective, though, the fundamentals in Toronto, they still remain strong. I do see 2026 probably still being a little bit slow. Hopefully by 2027, things are picking up again. We'll see how it goes, though. Diversification, like I showed you on that bar graph earlier. Yeah, the detached, semi-detached, townhouse, etc. Don't make your portfolio all in one. As you could see, if all you had was detached homes, you'd have taken the biggest hit right now. Spread it out a little bit, throw in some townhomes right now, okay? Lock in favorable returns during rate cut environment. Kind of goes back with the buyers as well. You guys are kind of similar right there. Rate cut's coming up. Maybe wait for that before you go and get your next rental property. All right, guys. So if you're ready to make your next move, if you're ready to sell your house, if you're ready to buy your house, I'm here. I'm willing to help. My name is Dennis Soldo. I'm from eXp Realty. My number is right here, 647-492-6768, or you could email me at dennis@soldbysoldo.ca. Okay, I will have some links below where you can fill out a form if you're a seller, fill out a form if you're a buyer. But if you guys are lazy, text the number on the screen. We'll figure it out from there. Anyway, guys, that's it for September's market update. I'll see you guys next month. Have a great day. Take care.